All right, so for my project, I decided that I wanted to talk about anxiety and stress in adolescence and like what are the causes for poor mental health and some of the solutions that experts and stuff have talked about. So the reason why this topic interests me is I want to try to understand my students. So if they have any problems, I want them to be able to talk to me about it. And then I want to be able to direct them to someone who can properly help them, like a counselor or their parents or something like that. I also think that not enough is being done about mental health in schools. I know, at least in my school, um, a lot of what people were saying was not taken as seriously as it could have been. I know what it's like because a lot of my family members and stuff have had problems with being anxious and stuff in school. And I also want to be knowledgeable enough to talk to my students as a whole class about stress and mental health. So the experts say that anxiety peaks around mid-adolescence. So this is around the age of late middle school, early high school. Um, Students who have self-diagnosed depression or anxiety were more likely to abuse alcohol and other drugs. They were more likely to get bullied or to bully others. They were more likely to get into abusive relationships with friends or partners. They were more likely to get into legal trouble as adults, and they were more likely to drop out of school. Students reported that the biggest stresses for anxiety and depression was bullying, parental pressures, their bodies changing too fast or too slow. So imagine like a young boy who is shorter than all the other boys might get picked on, and a girl who is developing a lot faster might be picked on for her body as well, things like that. Grades or sports were also high anxiety producing. Other peer relationships, like I said before, friends or romantic partners. A big change in their home life. This can include parents getting a divorce, them moving, or a death in the family. Some solutions that experts have for anxiety and depression in adolescence is exercising, talking to a friend or counselor. Different medications are sometimes helpful. Schools talking about healthy coping mechanisms, teachers and parents touching base with students periodically to make sure that they're not getting bullied or that things are getting better for them or they're feeling welcome. And then also team building exercises. Here are some of the resources that I have. And then here's my survey data. So I asked people on Facebook and then people from my friend groups and people in my class what their primary stress source was when they were going to school in high school or middle school. No one said teachers. 3 people said parents. 8 people said peers. 2 people said homework. 3 people said tests and grades. And 2 people said other. And when I looked into that, it was mostly things like moving or death in the family. Then have you experienced anxiety, depression in your adult life? 14 people said both, that they've experienced both anxiety and depression in their adult life. 2 people said just anxiety, and 3 people said just depression, and no one said neither. That can be from a factor of different things. For example, I only asked people in my friend groups and who were part of this class. So that can affect it. People's definitions of anxiety and depression can also be different. So those are some things to take into consideration while looking in that data. I also asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious were you in grade school, middle school, and high school? 4.3%, or on average, it was 4.3 for grade school, 6.3 in middle school, and 6.1 in high school. So from grade school to middle school, anxiety jumped pretty considerably. And from middle school to high school is a little bit better than in middle school as far as anxiety went. So what I learned about this topic, I was really surprised that 100% of people who responded to my survey said that they all had anxiety or depression at some point in their lives. I thought at least some people were going to say that they didn't have either. So that was pretty surprising to me. I was also surprised about how much puberty played a role in anxiety. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but it does make sense that just any change, it can be anxiety producing. And then I also learned that students responded really well to team building exercises and talking about personal experiences. I was worried that it would be something like the DARE program where people thought they were helping and that it was actually making worse, but people seem to um, really get a lot from those exercises. Here is my works cited. I got all the images from the picture charts, like clip art and stuff like that. So that was pretty helpful. And that's the end of my presentation. So thanks.